we're talking about the history of kissing, and this is fascinating because I hadn't really thought about it. I just assumed people have always kissed. It turns out there's a whole history and biological evolutionary theories around this one simple act that I had never even thought of before.
Well, and you're not alone, because for the most part, science has largely ignored kissing as well. And I think it is because it's so obvious. We all do it, but it's almost, I don't want to say perfunctory, because kissing isn't perfunctory. It's anything but. But it's so commonplace. It's like we pour money into studying things like how dung beetles survive, and we ignore this super significant behavior that our species does. So more reason that we should be talking about it.
Right? What brought you to this subject? What was your journey to, I need to research why human beings kiss?
Great question, because it's not something I intended to do, but I am a scientist and a science writer. And so I became noted. Well, I don't want to say I became noted for, that sounds too important, but people started to expect that my work would take topics that are very familiar to us and kind of break it down scientifically. And so around 2008, I wrote just a 400-word piece for New Scientist magazine on the science of kissing to coordinate with Valentine's Day. And I thought that would just be a one-off, but it did that thing where articles go viral. And suddenly these scientists at this big scientific meeting wanted me to organize a whole symposium on the science of kissing. And I was getting so many questions and emails following up on this. I just thought, there's a big story here. And the more I dug in, the more I realized that there were these seemingly disparate pieces of research, like the endocrinologists had done just a little bit, and the neuroscientists had done just a little bit, and the anthropologists sort of were thinking about it, but no one was putting this together in a story. And what a wonderful opportunity to do that and talk about science and talk about how it's relevant to our lives. And of course, there's a lot of history there too.
And now you're the kissing scientist. Now that's your whole thing.
It's definitely something that's fun to be noted for. I feel like it's a topic that doesn't seem to be waning in popularity at all.
No. And I love that as well. When you get a scientific subject and then you look into what all the different scientists have been saying about it, and they're all saying things that are quite different from one another. And you think, well, can all these things be true at once? Can what the evolutionary biologists be saying be the same as what the geneticists and the psychiatrists are saying? It's a massive subject. How did you start to wrestle it into one coherent narrative?
Well, what I actually loved was it wasn't so much they were saying different things, but they were looking through different lenses. So there was actually